it's Ryan Tierney from Lean Made Simple, and I'm really excited to announce our next presentation for the 2-second Lean Summit with Mr. Amezawa. So Mr. Amezawa travelled the whole way from Japan to be with us for the event. Mr. Amezawa is the former Vice President of Lexus, and it's a huge deal. It was a huge privilege to have him with us for the couple of days. And there's some really golden nuggets of wisdom in this presentation. I recommend you take your time, keep pausing the video, take notes, because the information in this presentation it's really golden, and it'll be really valuable for anybody wanting to boost their lean journey. And I really hope you enjoy it.
Thank you for inviting me such a great source.
Thank you for coming.
2-second Lean Summit. It's my pleasure to tell about my story. First, I want to tell you my history at Toyota. He's a very cute boy, it's me. 5 years old. But I was a bad boy. And high school boy, he's a bakery boy. He was already passed away. And after I joined Toyota in 1964, this is after 3 years after I joined Toyota, 25 years, already country boy. And at 42 years old, I was promoted to manager of body painting process. That's my desire. I raise my hand. I want to go to a production area, starting from inspection department. So I want to move to manufacturing part. And after move to Georgetown, this is a kind of event of Lexus dealership event in Canada. We invited every Lexus dealership present and exporters every year. At that time, Toyota invited singer's name, Beatles.
John.
No. McCartney. Very happy time. My father, he was a very smart guy, speak English very well. I work at the Yokohama rubber company, tire company. His order to subordinate is always written by English. So I met a former subordinate. He said, it's hard to read that before. So everything English, written by English. No Japanese. He was the plant manager of tire. My father was the first one to leave the village. He got the scholarship, so no money. It's a kind of condition for grandfather allow him to go to university. My first job at Toyota to find a beautiful wife. I started job at the Motomachi plant. It's one of the vehicle plants. So first month, I made this map. Beautiful lady map. At that time, we don't have an email system, so we wrote the letter, handwritten, only to these beautiful ladies. Then we invite them to a ski tour, camping, heavy. I want to return this age.
We all do.
Finally, I married with my wife, Akemi. 3 years ago, she passed away because of cancer. The number one daughter. Now I'm living with number one daughter's family at Toyota City. I was born in Tokyo. I moved many places of Toyota, many plants, and many shops. But it's a good, and I request the company to send me a Georgetown brand because Georgetown has a problem, so I want to fix it. I always move kind of travel area and fix a problem or restore culture. This is my history. And returned to Japan, I was assigned the vice president of Kyushu Lexus brand. Lexus brand, this area is a kind of nice organization, almost best, no problem. So these guys are kind of men who built Toyota, Sakichi Toyota, Kiichiro Toyota, and TBS founder, Taichi Ono, and Hiroshi Okuda. He's a kakumeka terosake.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, and Fujio Cho is a very gentle president. When I met him at his office, after finish 30 minutes meeting, okay, thank you, Mr. Cho. He stepped out of his room, then 90 degrees, thank you, Mr. Amezawa. I was so surprised. So it's a good thing in Toyota, we can speak to senior management, maybe no stress. It's one of the good things in Toyota. TPS started from Ono-san at maybe 1950 or 45 or 50. And implement almost every process around 1970. It took 40 years, more than 40 years, because there's no standard, no textbook. But you are happy already. You have many textbooks like the production system textbook. But until 1970, there's no text. All of us request, do not write anything about TPS because it's a kind of secret matter.
Right, so specifically, Ono did not want to disclose to the world what Toyota was doing. They were developing, and it was kind of a secret.
Yeah. Then President said, it's no good because only Ono, the team, knows everything.
Yeah.
But the other people, they didn't know anything. I did not know Toyota production is going on in Toyota. Well, then 1970, Toyota started TPS education, training. Then I recognized, we have a Toyota processing system. Reading Toyota TPS book. And straight, very straight. But you are very lucky because you can see many process or many company or many textbook. Successful TPS is based on the Jidokai philosophy and just-in-time philosophy. Now, already 86 or 7 years history, Toyota has 86, 7 years. Still we keep these two concepts, Jidoka and just-in-time. Never change. It's not a method, it's a philosophy. But these are kind of how to method. They change year by year. Kanban, before Kanban is a returnable Kanban, binary Kanban, but now it's maybe using electric transmission. So also paper Kanban.
Even though Toyota uses e-Kanban, which means
E-Kanban.
Toyota sends informations, order numbers
Yeah.
to suppliers by email and digitally, but still they use paper Kanban as well.
Today.
Yeah.
Today, it's still a paper Kanban.
Truck driver bring it back to
Actually,
factory.
they handle actual Kanban
Right.
and attach to each bin.
But you should understand, this is the foundation of this story. What is the good relation between company and union or company and employees? One more important thing is every job, including office job, must have a standard work. 1964, I joined Toyota. After I joined Toyota, I made a lot of standards because there's no standard in Toyota. How to make inspections standard, how to make some design change. No standard for but the Toyota tried to get a dimming price as 1964, 1965. So professor of university came to Toyota and brand senior management. You must have a standard. So almost every day I made a standard, maybe 3-4 standards every day. Process also. This shift, opposite shift, process is different.
The day shift and night
Night
shift,
shift, yeah.
they made a different process.
Yeah.
They were
Different
manufacturing
process.
in the different processes.
So you think about the struggles that all of you are going through in implementing this. Toyota went through the same thing, and they had no model. Look how lucky we are.
Yeah.
Look at the models and example we have from Toyota to CD Matters. It's really unbelievable.
And everybody knows what Deming price is and how big that is in Japan.
Now,
So-
you can understand, Toyota was not a good company before.
It was not a good company when he joined it. Nissan was a good company.
Yeah, I want to join Nissan, but
He was bad boy. They wouldn't allow him in.
I'm the cutting line. So, but finally, it was very lucky thing. So, if I joined Toyota, maybe I was fired.
Nissan. He was lucky that he was not able to join to Nissan today.
Yeah. So, yeah, but before this, right? Toyota, Nissan. Then after Corona, new vehicle beat Nissan, Datsun, Bluebird, and next Sunny, Corolla beat Sunny, Crown beat Cedric, Celsius beat Sima, almost every model level, so beat Nissan, beat Nissan. My friend graduated Kyoto, very famous university, Kyoto University. He was told, okay to join Nissan, but finally he canceled it because before he joined Nissan, he
joined the summer curriculum internship to work in Nissan. And he didn't like it. So he decided not to join after graduation.
He was surprised because 100% people, Gemba people, every day blame company.
So they were talking about bad about Nissan. even though
The Gemba people. The Gemba people were
the
talking bad.
management, yeah.
Okay. Ono was very tough manager. When I was young, this is general manager every morning attitude. Reading newspaper until maybe 10 a.m. or lunchtime. So I really want to be a general manager as soon as possible. But after I became general manager was so busy job. Almost more than 80% of time I was not Gemba. So all love Gemba people, very tough manager, but these are very important Taichi Ono 10%. First one, hey Paul, you are the cost. So company told me, your salary, company does not pay your salary. The money, the Gemba people made money, your salary is money which Gemba people made.
Mr. Amezawa,
Hi.
what did Ono tell you that you were supposed to save in cost in order to pay for yourself? How many times your salary?
その上司に自分の給料はマネージャーなんだから、いくら分何倍
As a young engineer, maybe 3 times more than your salary. The manager, maybe 30 times. General manager, maybe 300 times more than your
So you're making $100,000 a year as a manager. You need to save the company $400,000 a year to even justify your existence.
Yeah. This is somebody say, yeah? First say, yes, I can do it. Even I don't have
I don't have a confidence that I can do it. I feel like I can't.
I must say, I can do
but
it.
first, you have to say in front of your managers, yes, I can do it. Then think what you can do.
Workplace is the teacher, so that's the reason the manager should go to Gemba. This is a true story. So as a manager, a general manager, I never read a report because inside the report data maybe lie.
So I never trusted reports that I received from my subordinates because reports are all lies.
Okay.
When somebody send some report, I throw it away in the trash can.
Without looking. Receive it
Throw it
directly,
away.
throw it away to the garbage bin.
Nande? Honto? Yeah. Really? Okay, let's go to Gemba.
Let's go to the Gemba together and see.
So I found a different thing. So report is no, the report was wrong. Monthly meeting, do you have a monthly meeting?
Do you do monthly meeting in your organization?
Oro-san said, 死んだ子を数えてどうするんだと。死んだ子の子供のかを数
Why
えて
are you still stick with the person who already died?
Yeah.
Which means,
Data-
why are you reviewing what you have
Yeah.
done already? Why don't you talk about the future? Why you're reporting
The
all
meaning
the
of
things
that
that you
is
did already?
Data was too old, already dead. Weekly data is better than monthly. Daily data is better than weekly. But finally, at the instant, now, this data is very important in front of you.
So don't wait to see the result.
But
Or don't wait.
Yeah, that's another
long.
reason of a manager must on the Gemba as much as possible. As a manager, I have a 3 meetings. Some cost meeting, quality, safety meeting, and some quality meeting. But that meeting, I already have a meeting on the floor, standing, and so only 30 minutes. Never see the meeting room. Paul, you don't have a chair, right?
No chair.
And next, do anything immediately, right now. I will try tomorrow. Do it today. And it is when you start something, preserve it. Do not give up until finish it. Also, explain difficult things in the easy to understand the manner to Gemba people. Repeat 100 times or 1,000 times. Repeat. Waste is hidden. Do not hide it. Make problem visible. This is another funny story. あれなんていうのかな、こう防火用水。
So there's a big pool, pool box in the factory outside in Toyota.
So company has a kind of schedule to clean inside.
Yeah, clean the pool.
A
Yes.
schedule to clean the pool.
Yeah, and the pool water, everything.
They take all the pool water out.
Under the water, there are lots of crankshafts. And
Lots of crankshafts.
it's a kind of defect crankshaft.
Hiding
They
the
were hiding
defects.
them.
Hiding. That all the Taitsan area. これ好きだね、これ。I like this
Number
one.
8 is my favorite.
Number 8. Valueless motions of Gemba people are equal to shortening his life, her life. Muda, muda, muda. Be improved what was improved for further improvement. When I was a pension manager, so general manager came to my plant, he said, your process is same as 3 days ago. What did you do 3 days? I could not move. Yes, sir. And wisdom is given equally to everybody. The point is whether one can exercise it. Ono-san became a vice president in the future. Even a vice president, every day, he is thinking, oh, that process, how can I do that, change that? Until he died, he was always thinking. Ono-san said to me, this is the reason. Toyota before, we have a kind of sampling inspection or outsourcing parts using United States, a military standard.
Military standard,
Yeah. So serious parts maybe 1% or visual parts maybe 4%. We report to Ono-san.
So this is one of the most profound things that we learned and discovered just this last year in Japan. We were at Mifune, and Mr. Amezawa said to all of us, you know, you think the customer's buying your product,
Yeah.
but they're not. They're buying your process. If you have a bad process, they're not going to buy your product. Your product is the byproduct or the shadow. This is, again, new learning that we learned from Mr. Amezawa this year. This is the shadow of a great process.
Ono-san told us there is no inspection or 100% inspection.
Right.
Only 2.
You either inspect everything or you inspect nothing.
Yeah.
If your processes are great, there's no reason
inspection.
for inspection.
Currently, maybe almost more than 99% of parts, no inspection. But sometimes we import from United States as a kind of very difficult audio kit. It had a lot of problems, so we inspect 100%.
So I want you to think about that. So when Toyota receives the product from Tier 1 or Tier 2, technically Tier 1, there is no inspection. Toyota is not have anybody spot check anything. Because they are buying the process.
Before Toyota organization is the bodywork manufacturing department, body inspection process done by inspection department, paint production, paint inspection in the inspection department, assembly inspection also done by inspection.
Right, so this is one of the most beautiful points of all. You had all these inspection departments in Toyota.
Yeah.
And Ono said, get rid of all of them. There is no inspection. Correct?
Yeah. So general manager of production side, if something happens in the market, he must go to a dealership or customer area, and I'm sorry. So before inspection department went to dealership or customer area, no pressure for manufacturing department. They also completely changed.
So every operator is completely responsible for building quality into the process and for delivering quality to the next department. No secondary inspection.
Yeah. I want to tell about our activity. Oh, this is that? Okay. It's a funny story, but it's true. When Olson came to a plant site, information went around quickly, maybe. Then people try to escape from Olson. This is another story. Some department manager or general manager want to explain some Kaizen activity to Olson, but Olson, it doesn't matter. Olson went into a different area, that's a kind of problem area. He knows everything.
Because Mr. Ono was always on the Gemba, he knows more than anybody else about the Gemba. So he doesn't need to listen to any presentation from subordinates. So immediately he ignored them because they were preparing to give a presentation to him directly.
Yeah.
But he knows which one is the problem.
Yeah.
So he went, just ignore them, and he went immediately the problem process. That's what he saw.
The manufacturing department prepare some report, like something like this. Today, never look at this. Okay, I want to go to this way. When I was assigned the Toyota Kyushu vice president, a local supplier, mostly a Tier 2 supplier, is so weak. Our rate is lower than Toyota area compared to headquarter area, but the total labor cost is much higher than Mifune-san company.
So the labor cost was much higher in Kentucky plant than in the Japan plants, correct? Kyushu plant.
So I started talk to Tier 2 member, Tier 2 supplier. I want to start some of the kind of lean production study team we call Toyota Monozukuri Kenkyukai. So Toyota Manufacturing Kaizen
Study group. So Monozukuri is the ability to make things or to manufacture things. So the Toyota Monozukuri study group to deeply study and understand how to make things.
55 companies joined this activity from Tier 2 company.
So Toyota, this is another important thing. So Toyota is working with their suppliers to teach them, not to scold them, not to say, why are you making mistakes, but to teach them and develop them.
We are building Lexus, but the supplier level is not enough for Lexus production. That's also very touchy issues. Quality should be number one in the world. The 55 companies joined, we made a full group, stamping and welding, injection molding, and some other assembly or other group.
So study groups for all the different disciplines in manufacturing. Toyota created the study groups with all the tier 2 suppliers, and then had a Toyota member there to work, help, and develop their culture and their manufacturing ability.
Some of you know Mifune-san.
Yes.
Mifune Daichen time is single minutes.
Right.
But the Kyushu stamping maker, more than 1 hour.
So are you getting that? The tier 2, Mifune is doing it in 5 minutes, 5 dies, and the Kyushu plant, the Lexus plant, 1 hour.
1 hour.
That's how good Mifune is.
So that stamping zone, maybe 10 company, 10 or 12 companies join. Each company send 2 representatives to Kaizen activity. So total maybe 20 or 25 or plus tier 1 company
supports it. Right. So you have 2 members from every tier 2, 1 Toyota member, and plus a tier 1 supplier who's receiving the tier 2 product to support everyone, teamwork, collaborating together.
Also, Toyota also sent a TPS a team. So we investigate information flow and path flow. You know, this process, why I'm making this part now? They need some information, maybe production order or Kanban. Then start production. So the information flow and actual path flow, it's a big map. We investigate and make a big map, like maybe save up this screen. Then we find where the problem. Then after 3 months activity, actually 3 months and a half maybe, work hard, or maybe 2 times a month, people gather and study and propose some kind of idea. After 3.5 months, finally, so team report result of Kaizen activity. Each company member must join, but the president of that company also we invited and report to them. Then after that, it's we are drinking party. Yeah.
So after they solved all the problems, we had a drinking party.
No pay. No, this is free. Only hotel charge. Each company must pay. Food, each company must pay. Toyota never receive money. If we gather some money, or maybe tax department maybe have some additional maybe tax charge. But this is already 14 years past. Amazing. So Paul knows Moltec is a plastic molding company. Inventory went down 1/3. Productivity increased 30%. Profit increased maybe double. The president paid special bonus, $500 for each, even the president $500. Part-time worker, $500, same money. This is Kentucky.
So this was my condition that termination when I was president in Kentucky plant. This was really actually happened.
Yeah.
One of the managers that we hired locally, he was very top down.
And they showed this. Okay.
And I really showed it to him, this flyer.
The Pizza Hut.
This will be your next job if you don't behave.
Kentucky good culture changed to kind of this kind of position.
So what happened was when Toyota started Georgetown, Kentucky plant, the culture was amazing. But after 10 years, the culture went down.
Yeah.
And he had to join this company and had to fix it, rebuild the culture.
1年でダメにできるんで、
So
会社は。
we always say, it will take 1 year to destroy your culture.
1 year is enough for destroy culture.
And one person can destroy the
Yeah,
culture.
Exactly.
But the restore するには3年はかか
But
る。
rebuild the culture again will take minimum of 3 years.
So this is not good. If you lie, look down Gemba people,
Also, if you look
we don't
down on
want
the
to keep
Gemba people,
these money.
you are out.
Yeah. Actually, I terminated maybe 3, 4.
So actually, I really had to let 3 or 4 managers go.
I don't say terminate. Maybe you must find your good job.
I guess
New
here
job.
you will have another job to work for. So please leave. We don't need you.
ダメな課長がいると優秀な課長候補が先に辞めちゃうんだよ。
So we understand that clearly. If the middle management is not a good person, then the good subordinates will leave before they promote. So Toyota didn't want to lose those good people, so we let them go, some of the managers.
この人は絶対残したいと思ったら僕はチェックを切って、大体
So for all of you out there that are vacillating about the people that are dragging your company down, cautionary tale.
5万ドルとか10万ドルの小切手を僕の名前で、渡す。残ってほしい人に。
So when I heard some of the good managers that they said, I can't stand this anymore, so I'm going to go. Then he was a president and he personally wrote a check about $50,000. Please, I beg you, please stay. I had to do that sometimes.
当時の社長はミスターチョウ。
And
Mr. Cho, President.
back then, Kentucky plant, there was a Mr. Cho. Mr. Cho was the president
ヘッドクォーター。
of the headquarters, not the Kentucky. And I was the one in Kentucky.
で、そのミーティングがあった時に、ミスターチョウに、ミスターチョウ、I'm going to terminate these guys.
So I had to report to Mr. Cho, the headquarter plant, that I'm going to fire these
fire.
managers. This is the list.
Who were promoted by Mr. Cho.
Oh, who were promoted by Mr. Cho.
So sorry, but I had to do it.
Maybe I'm a first guy who terminated American people.
He's tough, man.
Yeah.
He has a ball.
What I like best about listening to Mr. Amezawa and learning from him is he doesn't paint this rosy picture of Toyota that everything's perfect. We all know they're the best in the world, but they have problems, and they had to deal with those problems, just like we have problems, and we have to deal with
失
those
敗して
problems.
もいいんですよ。失敗は許すんです。
So
何も失敗
as
しない
a manager, if your subordinates made a mistake or made failure, just appraise them. Great.
Great.
Mistakes
No
are
problem.
always welcome because you tried.
もし
And
僕
a good example, real quick, is SnapCap's here, Seth is here, and SnapCap rewards their people for making a mistake. You make a mistake, oh my gosh, you get an award for that. Because now we have the opportunity to solve the problem.
もし誰かが失敗したら僕は言ってあげるの。俺はお前の2倍ぐらいの失敗したよっつって。
So some people reported to me, oh, Mr. Amezawa, I'm sorry, I made this mistake. I made a wrong bumpers of 20,000, let's say. But don't worry, I made 40,000 in the past. It's nothing.
君はまた修行が足らんっつって。
So you need more training, so let's keep it up.
This is true story.
I'm not making this up, it's a true story.
Yeah, some section, some organization manipulate the data. It happened in Toyota.
It happens in a lot of companies.
俺はね、嘘つき大嫌い。
I have to be honest with you. I hate people who lie.
Yeah. Assembly offline repair ratio 5%. But I'm standing at the end of line, maybe more.
So I saw the data that it says that the repair rate is 5%.
Yeah.
But when I went to the Gemba and watching how it's going,
Much higher.
It's much higher, so it's wrong. Something wrong here. Doesn't make sense.
I realize it's actually 30%.
30%, not 5%.
That, when I stand in the Gemba, is very important. Look at,
This is very common. I see this around the world in the companies that I work with. It's very, very common.
this is another bad thing. So focus on the result. Just cost, volume, quality also, yeah. That's the reason sometimes people try to manipulate data.
Right. So do you notice, don't hide your mistakes, Ono said.
Yeah.
And he's telling you about Toyota's past failures.
Yeah, we can say, I'm sorry, maybe tomorrow it's gonna be better. Sometimes reduce headcount forcibly. That's a big pressure for floor members. I moved to assembly division in Japanese Tsutsumi plant. Then I walked through the right side. Remember, through bolts.
Did you get that? So when you walked on the plants, they threw bolts at him.
Yeah. So 僕はだからこの人たちをどうやってもっと気持ちよくしてもらおうかと。
So my focus as a management always floor people. Make sure my floor people are happy working. So one time when I was looking around on the shop as a manager, and some of the team members threw the bolts at me because they were so pissed that they didn't like the management
Yeah.
style in Toyota back then.
3年かかりました。
And it took me 3 years to fix that plant. Not whole company, that plant took me 3 years.
だから当時は他の工場よりも最も悪い品質の工場だった。
And just so you know, that plant called the Tsutsumi plant was the worst plant among all 12 plants in Toyota.
Now it's the best plant.
Now it's best plant in Toyota.
Kentucky also. A Japanese plant maybe one defects ratio. So
And then the defect ratio in Kentucky plant was the worst too back then.
maybe one defect per unit vehicle.
So we even find one defect per
Kentucky,
unit or
Six?
per car.
6 defects per unit.
That was the ratio in Toyota headquarter plant, but it was 6 times more defects in Kentucky plant.
Now maybe 0.2.
Today, 0.2% ratio, so they improved a lot.
それがだから今は Lexus ES5
So as a
Georgetown
result,
plant
Kentucky plant was allowed to produce Lexus today.
I'm so happy to hear that. Yeah, that's the story of this. I try to restore culture of Kentucky.
So I actually volunteered or I requested to the company that I want to go join the Georgetown, Kentucky plant because I heard it's losing the culture, the production was very bad. I wanted to go fix it.
But I talked to them, Kaizen activity. Everybody, even manager, general
So when I
manager.
joined that company, immediately I
Everybody.
went to the Gemba and talked to the people what's really going on.
Everybody rejected Kaizen.
And they didn't want to see me.
み
or
んな
meet
改
me.
善嫌い。やりたく
And
な
they
い。
said, we hate Kaizen, we don't want to hear about it, we don't want to do anything at the Gemba. That was the first reply when I joined.
みんなが思ってるんですよ。トヨタは解雇しない会社だと。
But because they could say it, if you were hired as a full-time worker in the States, in Georgetown, Kentucky plant, then Toyota cannot fire you. Even though you don't behave, if you do whatever you want, Toyota cannot fire you.
だけど1950年にはバンクラプシーでチャプター11とかなんかそういうのになって1760人解雇してるんで。
So Toyota in the past in Japan, when they almost went bankruptcy, they fired more than 1,000 people, and that was the pain experience in Toyota. So Toyota don't want to create the same problem, same mistakes, so they will never fire.
当時の経営陣は約束してたらもう二度と解雇はしないと。
So, but since then, Toyota top management, committed to themselves that that will never happen again.
So that all happened in 1950. They had the big labor crisis and financial crisis. That's what led to the just-in-time system. And from that experience, his wisdom, Ono's last principle is wisdom is given to all people equally. The question is whether or not you exercise it. So this is a classic example of an experience that they could have extracted wisdom from, and they did. But most people don't extract wisdom from the experience. And this is Ono's principle, and this is how Toyota applied it in this
僕
application.
はケンタッキーの人たちにそんなことない解雇したんだと。だから二度と解雇しないように
So I have to explain, especially the top management in Georgetown plant, that we don't want to create the same mistakes. So we will not fire. Instead, we're going to train them.
So the next time you think you have a little bit of responsibility, take a look at the size of that plant and all the tier 1 and tier 2 that in addition to that, the tens of thousands of people that were.
So Kentucky plant itself, back then, he was responsible for 80,000. 8,000人でしたっけ?
8000人。
8,000 people I was responsible for.
Just at the plant. That's
at the
not
plant.
counting the tier 1, tier 2 suppliers that were all additionally.
その8000人前に話す機会なんかないんだよね。
I really wanted to do like this when I was president at Kentucky, but there was no such a place that we could gather 8,000 people at one time.
これが実際の初代の社長はそうだ。
So these are the president of Kentucky plant back
ね
then.
この人の時代の時ダメになって。
So first, second were good, but the third one kind of destroyed the culture completely. Then I joined as a
で
fourth
僕が何とか
president.
して芸理コン
Then we finally passed on the president in the local people or
Right.
American people. We wanted to hire someone from locally.
だけどみんなをどうやってこっちに向かせるかというのがもっと難しい。
But the
So he was-
philosophy is that Toyota first wants to have the Japanese in control of the plant to set it up and establish the culture, but ultimately they want to hand it over to local people to run.
だから現場ピープルが僕のとこ来て、アメザーはまあ日本の会社に戻してくれって。
And I remember like yesterday when the first day when I went to the company, one Gemba person came up to me and begged me, Matt, please change this crazy culture which is destroyed, and we want Japanese culture which was created originally when we started. So I need your help.
一番最初僕やったのは
So first thing I did
毎
was
年4000台以上の生産の遅れがあったんです。
So I found out that this plant was so much delayed that every year they had to produce 40,000 extra cars. So they are behind 40,000 cars.
48回のサタデーワークをやってもまだですからやらな
And
い。
we never able to catch up.
そう私はね本社の生産官に電話して
As soon as I found out that the fact, I called the headquarter plant, okay, headquarter office.
僕はクリスマスプレゼントを送ろうと思うと。
So that was beginning of December. And I said to the person in Honsha plant, and I said, hey, I have a Christmas present for you.
なんだって言うから
he said,
4000
"What
台
is
の
it?"
カムリの生産だよって。
Oh, I will give you 40,000 Camry cars production to you, so you can make more money.
いや向こうはアグリしたんだよね。
And then the headquarter office said, okay, we will receive the present.
とチームメンバーにそれを話したらみんな喜んで
And so that the Kentucky plant people can start from zero.
そ その代わりみんなでこの遅れを出ないように頑張ろうって。
So I told my team member in Kentucky plant, people are so happy, oh, Matt will do something different. It'll be different from last president. So people start believing in me. And also I told them, because I wanted to make you feel good, now it's time for you to focus to produce Toyota cars without any delay.
大体そんなこと言えばむちゃくちゃ怒られるんだけど、なぜか僕が言うと怒られるんだね。
So actually, that's very difficult to tell and give that kind of delay to the headquarters, but nobody didn't get upset. So I was lucky.
でみんなに改善をやってもらわないかんから僕は2つの
And I really needed everybody's participation of Kaizen, but I didn't tell them anything but these two things.
改善とは make your job easier.
So Kaizen is truly make your work easier.
One more.
And
Make
another
your
thing,
process better.
I told them, just make your process better.
絶対に品質のことだ
I
と
never
か
talked about quality.
生産性のことや
I
コスト
never
のことは
pushed any
一言も
productivity.
言わなかっ
I never said those words.
た。ただこの2つだけ。
Only these focus was my philosophy in front of them.
プロセスが良くなれば品
If
質も良くなる。
you make process
生産
better,
性も良くなる。
as a byproduct,
The shadow.
quality will go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
like a shadow,
shadow.
quality will go
いやいや
up.
シャドウ。そのためにはね、僕は毎日現場歩いて
So
た。
as a top management, what I did every day was going to the Gemba and walked more than 30,000 steps a day.
3万歩以上歩いてください。ずっと
How
現
about
場にい
you?
るっておっしゃ
How
る
many
ことね
steps are you walking on the Gemba every day?
Yeah.
The president of Georgetown, Kentucky.
Lunch with manager and workers, the same cafeteria.
Not
So-
the executive lounge.
Yeah.
And he never had a meal with Japanese managers. He always tried to communicate with local managers.
多分信じられないと思うけど。
I don't know if you believe this, but this is also
Before
another true
Christmas
story.
holiday, I tried to meet 8,000 team members and shake
So
hands.
before
Thank you for your
Christmas, 2
hand
weeks
job.
before Christmas
Have a nice
season,
Christmas holiday.
I met every single of my people in
2週
Kentucky.
間かかりますよ。
It took me 2 weeks to shake hand each of them among those 8,000 people.
真夜中も行かないよね。ここしか働いてない人いるんだ。
So think about it. It was not one shift. There was a night shift too for 24 hours. So I had to stay for the second shift and make sure I meet
だから
everyone.
会社の隅っこのチームメンバーがそんな社長が来るわけないよっ
And
て
some people are talking about me that I heard President Mr. Amezawa is come here and then shake hand with us and then celebrate Christmas.
いや
And then, no, he's not gonna come. We are in the welding dirty area, welding shop, and we are nothing. Why do you think the president of the company is coming and greet with us? I don't believe you. So they were talking and getting a rumor that he's gonna come or he's not gonna come.
お来た来た来た
Then, one day, he's coming. So people kind of excited to meet him, greet him for the Christmas.
はいクリスマスサンタクロースだけど
Like I wanted to be a Santa Claus to everyone, so I grabbed big bag with candy,
one cookie
and then the cookies, they give
shake
you
a-
little cookie, and then
Thank
thank
you
you
for
so
your
much
hard
for
job.
your hard
Have a nice
work of this
Christmas
year.
holiday.
Have a great Christmas holiday. But
hair maybe 生えちゃってもう
sometimes I really had a hard time, managing my hand. It was very sore.
Two people said no.
However, 2 people out of 8,000
No.
people rejected my shaking hand. They
Yeah.
said, no, I don't want to shake
They
your
are
hand.
supporting a UAW union.
So they were actually supporting the unions in the States, so they didn't want to agree with Mr. Amezawa.
But the day after tomorrow, they came.
And a few days later, actually, those 2 people visited my office.
社長のデスクのとこ来て、
And
ものすごく謝っとったね。もう
And they said, I'm sorry, Mr. Amezawa,
主義と
that I,
礼儀は
as
違
a
う
human being, it was very rude that I rejected your shaking hand. So please forgive
ケン
us.
タッキーの社長の席はそこらにポッと置いてあるんですよ。 誰でも入ってこれる。
And my president room was, there's no door. Everybody was able to come in and out easily.
そう
They visited
これを
me.
申し送ったら次の社長にアメリカ人の途中でギブアップしました。
So the next president, he said, oh, I'm going to do the same thing that Mr. Amezawa did for the Christmas, but he gave up. He was not able to meet all 8,000.
やってみたらすっごい大変なことだ。
Yeah, it sounds easy, but it was super difficult to do.
トヨタでトップになるの人と特徴
So I had a great question during the tour in Japan that
Yep.
Mr. Amezawa, who do you choose? Or what kind of people do you
Gemba
choose in
大事です。
Toyota to promote those people? These are the two answers that I gave.
そしてこういう能力がある人。
So first I said, yeah, so for those who can get along and can work together well, then you have a potential to become a leader.
And the second part of the answer is right there. They
Yeah.
see problems, they solve problems,
Yeah.
and they don't show off. They don't talk about themselves. They don't talk about all the great things they've done. They shut their mouth.
When we だから僕らレクサス作るときに考えたんだけど、
So this is the message
あ、
when
違う
we
違う。これはトヨタの改善の考えだ。
so this is the Kaizen philosophy in Toyota. One step.
One step.
It matters to
One second.
reduce one step. It
Why?
matters 1 second.
One
And
year.
it matters 1 yen.
トヨタのロームコストはだいたい時間3600円だったから、
Benefits was very high in Japan. Especially Toyota had to pay high benefits to the workers. So that was the concept of the
philosophy.
Look at
message.
this video. This is a kind of training video.
So this is the actual training video that Toyota uses. This is before Kaizen.
Before Kaizen.
One step, 1 second, 1 yen.
This is after
After
Kaizen.
Kaizen.
Using both hands, move the tray position.
Yeah. あれ出てこないよ。時間のやつ。どれがこの価値を生む仕事か。
Tell me which work is value-added work in this process.
Where's the value added?
Yeah.
When?
Just maybe 1.2 second.
When you put the cap
Yeah.
on, which is 0.2
Yeah, yeah.
seconds.
So you ready for this? 90% of everything Toyota does is
One more video.
is what?
さあ、ポールさん、
Waste.
お願いします。
Value or non-value? Value or non-value? Non-value, 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 value. Non-value, 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 value. Non-value, value. Non-value, non-value. Non-value, value. Non-value, value. Non-value, value. Non-value, 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 value. Non-value, 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 value.
Value.
90% of what Toyota does is non-value. Think about that. The best manufacturers in the world, not the best car manufacturers in the world, they're way past that. They're the best manufacturers in the world, 90% is non-value.
Only value-added work is only 10%.
Only
Only
10%?
10%.
Yeah.
You shudder to think what our stats are.
Look at this.
1 step, 1 second, 1 yen.
Yeah.
This matters to Toyota.
Just 1本.
So when he picked up the gun, he put the step, 1 step. But this is after Kaizen. When he
で、
picked
ツ
it
ール
up,
が近くに来るからこれ
Get it
1
good.
step.
This is automation without power. It's simply extracting the power from the conveyor system. Kerakuri.
もし改善を否定したらもうどんどん落ち込むだけ。
So if you stop doing Kaizen, then you will not remain the situation or condition of your organization. It will definitely
も
decline.
う一つ面白い事例を説明しましょ
Let me share one more story.
う。Body wear process. 5 people are working.
So let's say there's a body welding shop and then there are 5 people working.
とマネージャーがここを改善しようという提案をしました。
So there's a one manager wanting to improve that process.
一人のチームメンバーが改善大嫌い。
And one of the guys said, I don't want to do this. I don't like Kaizen. Why do I do that?
マネージャーはどうしたかというと、
So what did the manager do with the
その
guy?
改善大嫌いの人を改善チームに連れてきて、
So what he did was he asked the guy who said, I don't want to do this, and then he made him to join the Kaizen team of
で
Toyota.
彼にミッションを与えました。
And we gave the mission to him.
このあなたが今まで嫌だと思った仕事とみんなが今思ってる何とかしてほしい気になる仕事を全部聞いて聞き出してくれる。
So you go to the Gemba, what you're going to do is you're not going to do Kaizen. Don't worry, I'm not going to give you the mission anymore. But I want you to just go around the Gemba, try to listen what the people have, what kind of problems that the Gemba people are having, and then just report it to me.
84アイテム出てきました。
So he categorized in 84 items
Yeah.
that the Gemba people are having problems.
でマネージャーの改善チームは全部やっつけた。全部直した、それを。
And then, and as a Kaizen team, we were responsible to fix all the 84 items.
皆さん信じられないけど、5工程が
And the
いつの間
5,
にないか4工程になってました。
so we reduced one process out of 5. So now it's four processes.
で、改善した後、私たちが必ずやることは、
So what do I do? What do we do in Toyota that after we do Kaizen?
この改善どうだったの？よかった？
You
悪か
always
った？
have to talk and communicate with the Gemba person. Do you like this process, new process? How, if it's uncomfortable, let us know. We're not going to push you to keep doing the new process.
まあ、全員が
We want to make sure you like the process.
全員がすごく楽になりまし
And
た。
everybody said, oh, don't change this. We love this. We love after Kaizen process.
みんなその改善嫌だってどうだったか知りたいでしょう。
So do you know what happened to the guy who said, I don't want to do the Kaizen?
彼改善もっとやりたいって言う。
Oh, I'm so addicted to Kaizen now. I want to do it every day. So he's very motivated.
だからそれがショーケースになるね、そういうことやると。
And if you make one spot successfully,
いや、
then
Minna
people
amigo.
around the different lines, they will go, oh, I kind of want to do that too. And
Right.
it will influence all the organization.
大体そういう人があちこちこう改善って面白いの面白いのって言うんですよ
And
ね。
people start talking about how fun Kaizen is. Then you're going to win.
で、今度はプレゼンジョブ。堤と親工場の堤工場とケンタッキーで大体生産性が2割から3割違う。
So Kentucky plant, their productivity was probably 20% down than the headquarter factory in Japan, in Toyota.
それで現場の班長さん、ティームリーダー、5人のリーダーですね。ティームリーダーとグループリーダーのチームを作って、一回調べに行ってこいって言ったんです。
So when I was president at the Kentucky plant, I called 5 top managers, and do you want to go to Japan? I will send you as a spy and find out what the headquarter is doing. That's your mission. So I sent those 5 managers
ア
to
メリカ
Japan.
は日本に戦争で勝ったのに、なんで負けとるんだと悔しくないかって。
Don't you feel, if as an American, Japan during World War II, you beat Japan, but now Japan is winning you. Don't you feel you're kind of pissed? I want you to be good at it here in the States. So go find out what they are doing better than you.
班長を選んだらよかった。班長はもう働く味方だから。
And team leader is always having a good relationship with Gemba people. So team leader was the key. If they understand the concept,
もうカンパニ
the
ーワイ
Gemba
ド
will be way
カン
better.
パニーワイドの活動が大体3年ぐらい経った時にはもう追いついちゃった。
So after 3 years, spending 3 years in Kentucky, the productivity became almost the same as Japanese mother plant.
すごい。
I was so
現場の
blown
力が
away.
すごい。
So once they are committed in the Kentucky plant, their power was very strong. I was very blown away.
Do not forget ね、money wreck your brain.
And this is my another message. Don't forget, money wrecks your brain.
設備を買う前に考える。
Before you buy the machines, before you buy the facilities,
ね
use your brain.
This is another story. Okuda-san is the former president.
So Okuda-san was one of the former presidents who built Toyota.
After he was promoted to president, ね he said this.
So as soon as he became a president in
Yeah.
Toyota, this was his commitment.
彼は僕ら部長を集めて、
So he actually called all the top management, including the managers.
君たちはトヨタが一番だと思ってんだろ。だからダメなんだよって言われて。
Do you know what? And back then, in 1995, Toyota was
Yeah.
top of the manufacturer, and people were kind of getting snobby, and they're
多分もう
way
already
more
sales is number
than
one.
confident. And then he said to us, "You think Toyota is the best company in the world? That is wrong.
新しい社長がよ、トヨタなんかろくな会社じゃないって言った。
Toyota is not a great company. It's a shitty company, actually.
だからそんな会社はぶっ壊す。
So what you need to do, your mission is to destroy
Destroy.
the company."
ね。で、新しいトヨタを作れと。
And we want to create new Toyota, completely new.
This is company slogan.
And this becomes a new slogan,
Breakthrough
Breakthrough
Toyota.
Toyota.
We call BT2 project. Like
So we called it BT2 project.
BT2
Breakthrough,
through Toyota.
cut it in half.
Then production division.
So I've been to this plant. We take them to the plant sometimes in Kyushu. And so this is the original plant, and this is the new plant that has the same productivity and half the space.
Same capacity.
How much are you challenging yourself? So this is the original body line,
Yeah.
and the productivity
This is no one.
was mind-boggling as a result of Okuda's challenge.
Amazing. Big reduction, big kaizen. So not only just Gemba kaizen, this is the kind of
So I'm talking about here is relatively big, huge Kaizen, not the Gemba small daily Kaizen.
the point is what we want. Cramp from inside or cramp from outside. This is cramp from inside. So
What we did was we used to clamp from outside, but we completely changed it and did it from inside.
ケンタッキーのメンテナンスチームが喜んで。
And when I implement the same system in the Georgetown plant,
全然壊れない。
maintenance people loved it because they don't break down. So not much to do. They loved it.
Some of you know Shingo-san.
So this is Richio Shingo's father, Shigeru Shingo, who worked with Ono to develop the Toyota production system. And we just lost Richio Shingo. Some of you in Japan met Richio many times, and this was his father challenging Mr. Amezawa.
いや、クラスに入って。
So Mr. Shingo came to Toyota and gave us a lecture, a few days lecture.
7秒のサイクルの仕事があったんです。
So there was a 7-second process
Yeah.
of line.
明日の朝までに300改善を
And the mission that we got from Mr. Shingo was come up with 300 improvements by next day
改善ポイントを探してこいと。
among those 7-second
Ne-
process.
2030 is easy.
So we came up with 20, 30 ideas very easily.
4 people working together.
So we worked as a team with 4 people.
What is my countermeasure?
So I came up with great idea after came up with 30. I decided to buy a bottle of whiskey.
Buy Kentucky bourbon. And
So
drink
it's not Irish, it's Kentucky bourbon.
with soften our brain.
And once you get alcohol in you, then your brain becomes softer. So I thought I could come up with more.
Shingo Sensei said,
And on the next day, we brought 300 different ideas.
tear down the wall.
But Mr. Shingo's message was this on the right-hand side. Tear down the walls that you create in your mind. This was the lesson from him.
This is my idea. Drink, or maybe drink. Drinking alcohol is better. でも慎吾先生褒めてくれたよ。
Shingo, the Meister Shingo really loved that idea that I bought whiskey.
これはレクサスを作るときに
So when I became a vice president of Lexus,
優秀なチームメンバーが2人いたら2人の力が出る。
I explained this. Yes,
一人でも-
one person, yes, you will have double the power.
ということで、だけどレクサスは
But in Lexus case,
たった一
it's
人
not
の
plus,
ゼロ
it's
を
not
つける
adding.
と全部ダメになる。
If one person make mistakes or defects, then all the 6,000 people's effort becomes zero.
Until 1980, we don't have a Kaizen team. No Kaizen team.
So there was no specific dedicated to Kaizen or Kaizen team in Toyota back in 1970.
で僕ら改善して一
But
人
I was doing the Kaizen at the Gemba.
一人残った人を
I kind of asked my subordinate
秘
to
密の-
join me to
内
do
緒
more
で誰も
Kaizen.
知らない秘密の組織を作って
So I actually created the secret, spy Kaizen team behind my
また
boss.
改善したらもう一人入れて
And then I was asking another subordinates to join my secret Kaizen team.
がそれが会社にバレて
And one day I was busted.
でも僕は言ったの
But I
現
explained
場
to
の
my boss.
現場の人が改善するから現場の人がやってくれるんだからものすごく大事なんだと
Kaizen is super important because Kaizen will support and help the Gemba people. Gemba people has to have an easy, smooth process. Kaizen will help to that, so we need it.
最終的にはうんって言ったんですよ OK だと
So my boss said, okay, all right, let's create the official
その
Kaizen
代わ
team.
り改善チームを入れて生産性を見るよっつって
Then I will expect, Mr. Amezawa, I will expect you to increase the productivity, but I will give you the permission
the funds and the
to
permission.
have a Kaizen team
これどん
officially.
どんやったらそのうち 8% ぐらいになっちゃってそれがまた副社長に見つかって
And I created a Kaizen team. About 8% of the Gemba people become a Kaizen team. And my the vice president of Toyota kind of saw what I was doing. They said, Mr. Amezawa, too much.
Yeah.
Reduce it to half.
どんどん
So
改善が進んで
now these days in Toyota, about 4% of the manufacturing people join the Kaizen team.
結論は 4% 改善と
So 4% is the best number for the Kaizen team.
昔はゼロだったんですから
So in the past, Toyota didn't have Kaizen
でエン
team.
ジニアが改善をしたものを現場に持っていくと
So when we didn't have a Kaizen team, engineer team
Yeah.
made some kind of device to make the work easier and then give it to the Gemba people. Please use this great device that I invented.
いや次の日はもう
And on the next day, the engineer go back to the Gemba and then nobody is using the device. And he found it in the garbage bin.
My conclusion, top management must take initiative.
So the point was, the engineer's idea most of the
Yeah.
time doesn't fit what the Gemba people want. So Gemba people is always selected from the Gemba line.
ね次また
So
その
this is my
会に
conclusion.
俺たちはどんな会社にしたいんだとビジョン
So it's very important to have vision first. What kind of company do you want to make?
カレッジとクリエイティビティをでみんながそこに参加
And it's
今日の
important,
彼の
not
会社
partially somebody is committing to the vision, but everybody needs to join that.
もう
understand on the same
みんなが
page.
発表してくれて、みんなが生き生きとしてる。
Enjoying the
彼のところね
Kaizen activities in total participants.
それが僕の結論です。
So this is my conclusion from my experiences.
Don't just chase the dog.
And this is my second conclusion. Do not just chase the dogs,
九州
but
九州レクサスプラント
so when I was a vice president at Lexus,
本社でやってることはやるなと。
so I told my people, do not do the same thing that the headquarter plant is doing or headquarter office is doing. We are Kyushu plant or Kyushu
今は
Lexus.
本社がトヨタ九州を勉強に行くんですよ。
And since then, our target was not the headquarter, but our Lexus brand. So now today, people from headquarter, from Toyota City, come and see us in Kyushu.
Do not forget, be
Besides,
happy when
this
you
is my
find a
last
problem.
message. Don't forget, be happy when you find a problem.
So remember, Mr. Amezawa was always transferred to the place where the biggest problems were.
Yeah.
That is one
Boo
big
boo.
shit.
Be happy when you have a problem. So I've been very happy. There are so many problems on me. I'm a lucky guy. I'm a lucky guy.
I'm a lucky guy. I'm a lucky guy because I had so many problems. Okay, well, let's give Mr. Amezawa a round of applause. That is amazing. You're probably not going to get another chance with Mr. Amezawa. So if you have any questions, he's available, or we can answer those. If not, we could call it a night. You tell me, does anybody have any questions that they want answered?
Mr. Amezawa, I know that I'm not old enough to remember, but a lot of folks who are remember Japan in general for quality back in the day was like we think of Chinese quality is today.
Very bad. We turned over the product and it said Japan. We said terrible product. That was to the 70s, 60s, 70s.
And you had stated that Toyota was a bad company at the time. Do you think that the timeline that coincided was that because Toyota came out of that, changed the processes, everybody copied them, did you save the world? Is that what's going on?
So Deming was big thing.
Absolutely. So how many people know who Edwards Deming is? Okay? So Deming came there after the war with the directive of MacArthur and set the quality standard, and this was an amazing time. If you read my book, you know I talk about all this in the book as well. And that set the things in motion, but the government of Japan also was very instrumental in setting the standards.
But what is different from other companies if you compare Toyota? So Toyota is very good at making a perfect plan. In order to achieve 100% quality, then these are the conditions that we have to achieve. We come up with great ideas and then make a thorough plan and we follow. And we never do other things. So Toyota is good at it.
So, and again, in context, Toyota is a national treasure to Japan and to the Japanese people, and they all recognize it. So they had obviously influence, but in total, it was the government that created that directive based on what they learned from the Americans after World War II. Questions?
Yeah, Mr. Amezawa, thank you for your speech. At the end, you told us to be happy with problems, but we all know, my friend Ted, he was in the morning at my table, the first emotion you get when you find out you have a big problem. How do you deal with this problem and then solve the problem?
Andreas, is that it? I can't see you. Is that Andreas?
Yeah, it's Andreas, yeah.
Yes.
Just the
That's my
opposite.
question.
Yes, what a great answer. I've never heard him say that before. Isn't that beautiful?
Now I have a reason to wake up. Now I have a reason to
Japanese,
wake up.
yosh. Good, yosh. Everyone say it with me.
Yes. Because I know the feeling after you solve the problem.
Long-term thinking. There you go. Thomas. Here, you want a mic?
So, Mr. Amezawa, thank you for all your wisdom. And I see that you've done some Kaizen on your presentation since last year, so good job. One question I have is, the major pushback we receive when we try to implement 2-second lean in our companies, management saying you're not going to use 1 hour per day of production to Kaizen because it's too much of opening time that you're sacrificing to Kaizen. What would be your answer to those people?
会社で改善やりなさいって言って、1時間はやりなさいって言うと、従業員にしたら8時間のうち1時間改善に使うっていうのはとても難しいことだと思うんですけども、負担になって、そういう時ってやっぱりでも会社はリーンを取り入れたい。で、うまく取り入れるためにはどうすればいいでしょうか。I never said or set the time out of your daily life. You have to work 30 minutes on Kaizen or anything. I never said that. So middle management or top management really need to understand what the Gemba people want. Or what kind of problem they are having. So Kaizen team can solve the problems, or even you can ask to join the person who understands the problem the most, join the Kaizen team and try to fix the problem.
Did you get your question answered?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as a top management, do not say ever, do this, do that. Let them think. And let them come up with their ideas. And after, if their implementation becomes really successful, then they become more motivated, more confident. So as a top management, just shut up and let them do.
Beautiful.
Remember, Mr. Ono was very tough on the managers, and he never gave the answer or his ideas to the management team. Always he was very quiet and watching what they're doing.
And challenging.
Challenging them.
So look at some process.
Mr. Amezawa, thank you for your time tonight. You said if you stop Kaizen, you decline. And I've heard you insinuate that Nissan has declined while Toyota has risen. And I just wonder, what has led to that? Did they stop Kaizen? What's your opinion there?
That's not really true, in my opinion. That's not the case. So in the past, I have visited Nissan factory, and I also talked to the general manager there. So I realized, I found out 2 problems there. I saw that when I was walking on the catwalk for the tour in Nissan, and I saw some of people gathering and try to do some Kaizen. Sorry, I misunderstood. So we invited Nissan managers, and they requested that they wanted to see what the Toyota is doing at the factory. So I was the leader. I was the host to have those Nissan managers to come to Toyota plant, and then they asked me the question, what are they doing, those several people gathering, chatting? What are they doing? So I explained, they are gathering and then doing the Kaizen. They are communicating what they can improve the process. So those people didn't really see what they're doing because they're supposed to know that if they were always at the Gemba, but because Nissan, those managers are not used to going to the Gemba, so they have never seen that kind of situation.
So they don't have a Gemba culture,
No.
and they don't necessarily have a Kaizen culture.
Right. So they will start asking me, who is ordering this activity?
Who's ordering that
Yeah.
activity? And the answer is no one.
No, we never order anything. They're doing their own, try to solve the problems. That's what they're doing. Another thing. So in Toyota, almost it's a flat society. Toyota Gemba is very confident to talk to the engineer department or design department. There's nobody is higher or lower.
No high, no low.
Very flat.
Flat.
So sometimes
Yeah, so-
Gemba will reject your order or your request.
Or your idea.
Your
Gemba
idea.
has the power to reject the idea
Yeah,
for the
to
engineer.
engineers,
Right.
for example. So if you are responsible for design, then when you design something, then you respect the Gemba voice. Make sure you listen to them and then communicate before you decide everything. Remember, Kiichiro, the founder of Toyota, he was always at the Gemba. His hands are always dirty.
People are very important in our business, and I was wondering if you could give us some tips on how to interview, maybe how you used to interview in Toyota.
Okay, so you want to know how to determine whether or not a good person is eligible to work for you. Is that what you're saying, Isaac?
Some hiring tips.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what are you looking for in a new hire? What is the attitude characteristics that you're looking for?
一番大事なのはやっぱ協調性です。チームワークができる人。
First, most thing that we focus is if you are the person who are good at communicating with other people.
あとはもう入ってからトヨタが育てる。
That's it. That's all Toyota is looking for.
I want to harken back to the discussion I had with the three panelists up here. Do you remember what one of them was? Do you remember what the answer of one of them? Who remembers? What did Jack say? Communication. I learned how to communicate.
Then you can train them after you hire that person.
General manager, plant manager, yeah, sometimes director.
All the way from the bottom.
Yeah.
All the way from the bottom, all the way to the top.
Graduate high school.
So Hugh, you asked an interesting question at the very start, and Paul, I'd be keen to pick up on something that you said when you mentioned Deming and then the Japanese government. And really what I want to understand is how important is that governmental larger scale support in the sort of the bigger scale of success for lean and so forth?
Well, the answer is very simple. All you have to do is look at what Japan's accomplished. Literally the most amazing country on the planet, with the least amount of resources, the greatest productivity. Category after category, the Japanese have excelled every other culture. So that's because everyone is aligned. Everyone is going the same direction and cooperating together in a harmonious fashion. And it's very important, in my opinion, that the government has the correct criteria, the correct targets. And in my opinion, Japan has many very good targets compared to all other countries. Did I answer your question? Okay. Now, Mr. Amezawa might differ with me on that and see what he says.
政府が絡んだプロジェクトは結構やばいんですよ。
Yeah, Paul-san, I have to disagree with this part a little bit because not always necessary that the government support the private companies.
No, it is not necessary, but I think it's good that they set good targets of safety and quality.
Absolutely. It's very unusual
Yes.
if you compare to the other countries. But their mindset is very...
Japan is so weak.
Yeah. So I'll rephrase that. If I tried to say, or you understood me say, it is absolutely necessary. Maybe it's not absolutely necessary, but it is certainly behooves the society if the government has good targets. There's a saying that I love from Benjamin Franklin: prosperity is the byproduct of good governance.
And then also government always not to put top down to the companies what to do. They don't set the criteria what to do.
How to do it,
But
they set the targets.
They
Okay.
support, for example, safety month that we do every July, November, and there's a quality month in November we have a quality month, whole country, safety month for July for 2 weeks. It's all set by government, but they don't push you more. They don't go details. They just support. And then each company think how they can achieve the promotion.
I have another question. Coming back to the hiring of new employees, you said that communication, you look at their communication skills, and I would like to know in more concrete examples, can you share with us what exactly are you looking for in reality? Like if we were...
What it looks like, right?
What it looks like.
Yeah, what it looks like. Details about what it would look like if someone was effective at communicating.
Are you talking about the Gemba people?
Yeah, the Gemba people. Well, first of all, yes, he was referring probably more to management and leadership, perhaps. Is this the case for also Gemba people?
So when Toyota hires new people, we don't just interview you personally. We have several processes that we go through interviews. And we make them have a group discussions, and we do the private discussion, or private interview. There's several processes, and you will understand this person is very good at communicating or working together, or like to be different. You will see that categories in details.
Interesting, and a group discussion, that is fascinating. Let's get this question answered right here.
When Tier 1 supplier...
A little louder, a little louder.
When a Tier 1 supplier is having trouble and starts non-performing, is there a common root cause to that typically? And if so, is Toyota able to usually fix the problem and help them get back on track?
So today, Toyota's Tier 1 suppliers are very high level. They're very well educated, very well organized. So Toyota doesn't really say anything today.
So I'll answer the question. They don't really have problems. The kind you would be describing, they're not going to be having those problems. The culture is so over the top.
Business structure in
It would be
Japan.
the rarest thing in the world for something like that to happen. Even at the Tier 2 level. You can't get into the whole ecosystem if you're
日本には9000社ぐらいの自動車部品を作ってる会社があるんです。
トヨタだけで。
いや、全体で。
In Japan, we have about 9,000 companies who work related to Toyota, not Toyota, car manufacturing industry. Not only Toyota, 9,000 companies.
10% は3人以下とか5人以下の会社です。
And imagine 10% of those 9,000 companies is very small enterprises, like 3 people working.
部品のずっとルーツをずっと
Small
探ってったら
enterprise, like working for 3 people or family-oriented business.
Yeah.
Those small companies are supporting all Japanese industry.
ずっとリコールの原因を探ってったら70メーカーのたった一人の会社だった。
And one time, Toyota had a recall, and I was responsible to find out the problem. So I went to Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, and I found the root cause at Tier 7 company who was producing the parts by one person.
でもう一件リコールをずっと探ってったら
Another recall that I dealt with.
40メーカーぐらいだけど
It was a fourth supply, Tier 4 companies, and working. The company had 3 people working.
ものすごく広いサプライチェーンだもんだから。
So only even Toyota has a really, network.
だから今は重要な部品は全部追いかける、買う前に。
So you can imagine Toyota is because of those small companies that Toyota have to deal with, or auto manufacturing have to deal with. So Toyota has a very good, not only the connections, but how to trace the problems easily and quickly.
Two of the sayings in Japanese are "Ganbarimasu," which is "I will do my best," and "Yakusoku Mamoru," which means "I will keep my promise." And this is very deep in the Japanese culture. And when you get into Tier 1 and Tier 2, they're keeping their promise and they're going to do their best. The system's not going to leak. It's highly unlikely that it would leak at that level.
サプライヤーはすごく重要なんですよ。なぜかというと 70% のなんていうかな価値はサプライヤーの比率、30% はトヨタの内製のバリューなんです。
So Toyota produces their parts only 30% out of 100. 70% we have to receive from the suppliers.
Was the Toyota Kentucky plant able to produce similar quality as the Japanese Toyota plant?
Sometimes even better than Japanese. Yes, in the past it was very lower than, the headquarter plant. But today, because they can produce high quality products, they even produce Lexus today.
Mr. Amezawa-san, you have seen hundreds, if not thousands, of people that trying to implement lean around the world. What would you tell us is the number one or two, even three things that we failed to really capture of the Kaizen culture, the lean culture?
本当にやる気があればちゃんと変わりますよ。
If the top management is serious, you are always successful.
トップマネジメントの持ってるビジョンだとかなんかもの大事です。
So the top management vision is very important.
そうもしここにいる会社の人たちがお互いにお互いの会社を見て、お互いに勉強しだしたらもっと強くなりますよね。
Then, if you have the right management vision, then visiting each other, like benchmarking, just like what you did this morning, visiting Seating Matters and learn from each other, you will be able to.
So I heard it said, what are the three reasons why people fail? Top management is not fully engaged in the process and transformation. Number two, top management is not fully engaged in the process of transformation. Number three, top management is not fully engaged in the process and transformation. Okay, so I want to play this slide. I think you asked an excellent question. So this is Tier 1 supplier answer on if they've ever stopped the Toyota production line. We walk. So have you ever delayed Toyota's production? Have you ever had a problem where Toyota didn't meet their production schedule?
I believe 10 or 15 years ago, we had heavy snow in Miharu area, and we had the risk to stop the Toyota line, and at that time we used the helicopter to deliver to them.
Very good, thank you. Does that tell you how serious they are? Yakusoku Mamoru, I will keep my promise.
In the speech that you gave tonight, if there was just one thing that you could get through to this crowd, what would it be?
一番手っ取り早いのは自分の会社だけで悩むのもいいけど、お互いに相手の会社行ったら何でも言えるからどんどん行って、逆にこっちに来たらどんどん行ってもらって、そういうトヨタのサプライヤーが成功したのはそういうグループ活動ですよ。
So Toyota's success was group study activity.
だから、
So it's very important not to just hold into yourself, expose it, and share it with the other companies, like management, like what you're just doing. All the management get together, share the information, and grow together. That's what Toyota is doing.
ただ今日言ったように見るだけじゃなくて、あの会社がここを改善したいって言ったら、そこに皆さんの会社からディスパッチして、その人を送ってですね、3ヶ月間一緒になって改善したら、そこへ行った人も勉強して帰って、今度は自分の会社でやれる。
So this morning, when we visited Seating Matters, it was not just visitors and hosts. It could be better in the future to learn from each other. So discuss more And so the host will learn more. And you can implement some of the great ideas comes from visitors.
Let me say this. Well, I want to understand this from my own side. What he's saying is that when we were in there on the tour, it should have been not just about seeing what they were doing, but actually having a dialogue and all learning together and discussing issues deliberately. Is that
なんでそんなこと言うかっていうと、
Why do I say this?
トヨタには車を作ってる会社が7社か8社あるのかな、今。そのグループを2つに分けて4社3社か4社4社にして、そこでお互いにこの会社が会場になって他の会社から大体50人ぐらい。
Toyota's typical study group, what they do is tier 2 companies, let's select like 15 of them, and then become a all the car manufacturing companies get together, divided into 4 different groups, and visiting their companies, each other, and learn from each other.
具体的に言うと、トヨタ九州が改善するって言ったら、ダイハツ、それから、
So let's say Kyushu Toyota Lexus plant say we're gonna do the study group. Then Daihatsu will join, and Toyota
Lexus would join.
Of course, yeah.
Right.
And Toyota Group company will join.
で、一つのルールがあって、
We
相手
spend
の
2 days together.
会社に行ったら何を言ってもいいと。
And this is one condition when you visit the company.
自分ができてなくてもいいから相手に文句言う。
Just complain or give them problems. I think this is the problem. I think you can do better on this one. Even though you are not doing it, but you can mention it so that it will stimulate, challenge them, and then the company who received the guests or visitors will start thinking and then can
実際には
improve.
そこにマネージャーも現場のスーパーバイザーも大体トヨタ九州でやるときにはだから全体で50人から100人来るんですよ。
So when Toyota invite those people, we receive about 50 to 100 people one time, and we all discuss and
今度はサプライヤーはサプライヤーでグループを作って
And we do have
同じ
another
ことやる。
group creating among suppliers too.
だからみんな一人ぽっちじゃない。
So you are not alone.
Hi there. I wanted to ask, my understanding reading the TPS book from the 1970s was that everybody in Toyota was able to do production line work, and on occasion they would do that work. Is that still the case?
Yeah, it's required. You have to start. Top managers, you have to start on the Gemba doing the work. But Mr. Amezawa can answer as well.
So to answer your question, not long term, but as a short amount of period, yes, they all work at the Gemba first.
I think that was the answer that I gave you. Did that answer your question, Daniel?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, John, go ahead.
If you're in the upper management and you go to the floor, go to the Gemba, what technique do you use to avoid micromanaging and stepping on the chain of command of the supervisors that are in between upper management and the Gemba people?
社長は指示なんかしないんだよね。
President never give a direction, except vision.
社長はきちっと会社の将来ビジョンを示して。
So you as a president, your mission is to show the company vision.
例えば、
For example,
シートマターの会社だったら、こういうお客様にとって本当に喜ばれる椅子を、満足する椅子を提供できる、そういう会社になっていきたいという、そういうイメージ。
The mission means not the details. It's an image of your company. For example, for seating matters, we will provide most comfortable chairs for our customers, something like that, like an
例えば
image.
世界中のお客様に満足していただけるレクサスというブランドを作り上げたいと。
In Kyushu Lexus plant case was to provide to the world Lexus brand.
で、そのために
That was the vision.
そのために何をやるかっていうのを社長も入って議論をして、 アクションプランというか、まあ、要する
And
に
then
アニュア
as
ル
a top management, you
アニ
will
ュア
have a
ル
meeting.
プランを立てるという。
Once you set the
そこに
goal
参加。
or vision, then you will have a details discuss with your top management team.
そしてそのアニュアルのプランの
And you
実
have
行
an
結
annual
果を
plan. It's a
聞いて
Hoshin Kandi.
This is Hoshin Kanran, what he's
いや
describing.
いや、方
right
針
now.
管理、だって。
Right.
だからそこで指示よりも、そ
So
こ
you
で
don't tell what to do to
そ
your
こで
people.
指示をしちゃうと、またその人は社長の指示を待つことになるから、
Then, if you, once you,
お前は
you
どうしたいん
give
だって逆に聞くん
give
ですよ。
the direction or what to do, then that person will just wait for your next
もう常に考えさせるっていうのが大
order
事。
or his word. So if you want to talk to your people, then don't tell what to do, but ask what they're thinking.
一回も指示されたことないですよ、僕は。
So when I was working in Toyota, my bosses never told me what to do.
What did they do? Give us an example of what your superior, what kind of conversations would you have had?
例えば年間実行計画の結果を例えば3ヶ月とか6ヶ月ごとに見るでしょ。見て報告してもらいますよね。そしたら、そう、何がうまくいかなかった理由なの？で、どうするの？じゃあそうしましょうね。向こうに考えさせて、向こうが答え出したら。
So the Toyota leaders, Toyota top management are very good at listening and communicating. Jack, so what is your plan this year to achieve this company goal? Okay, that's great. And what is your problem today? Okay, so what do you think? How are you gonna think? You are thinking to solve this problem. Okay, great. Let's do it. That's it.
人を育てるってのはそういうことです。
That's how Toyota develop people.
自分の考えに近いことをみんなに分からない。みんなからこう出してもらえる。
Toyota always make you think so that you will grow.
And something that really stuck out to me is that you've lived a long, fruitful life. You've dealt with a lot of challenges in your life, and you've made a big impact in the world and in your community. And I want to know what all of us can do in this room to prepare the next generation to deal with challenges and problems and to make impacts in the lives of who's coming next. And the challenges that none of us really, I think, are prepared for. Is there any advice from your life that you could give us to help prepare the next generation and be ready to bring up the next leaders?
Well, I think, I'm just going to say this, I think he almost gave the answer in this last answer, and that is we need to be challenging and supporting the leaders so they're developed and not giving them the answers to the questions. But you want to frame the question? Basically, Mr. Amezawa, we want to change the world. What and how do we do it with this next generation? As these leaders in the room, what do we do to motivate, stimulate, and develop the next generation to improve the quality of this world? Dan, is that a fair question?
会社を変えたから自分が変わるしかない。まずね。
If you want to change the company, if you want to change the world, you yourself need to change first.
変わった自分についてこれるかって手を挙げてみんなが嫌だったらもうダメだね。
And then if after you change yourself and then ask your people, how do you like how I changed? And if people didn't like how you changed, then you should quit your business.
だから日頃社長が言うことにいつもこうなんていうのかこう感じてもらうような関係を作っとかないかんけども。
So it's very important you as a president make sure you have a good relationship with your people and communicate well.
奥田社長の
Do you remember I talked about former
ああいう
President
社長で
Okuda?
今のトヨタなんかとんでも
When
ないバカ
Toyota
な
was
感じ
doing
ダ
the
メな感じ
best in the history, Okuda-san said, "You think Toyota is good? It's a shitty company. Do you remember the story? And destroy current Toyota, create new Toyota."
あんなことを言う社長初めてでみんなびっくりしましたよ。
Everybody was shocked when he said that to us.
だけど
But
そうだよなってみんな
that's actually true, what he
やっ
just
ぱり
said.
会社が一番になった時が一番危ないっていうのは
When you become number one in the country or in the world, that's the most dangerous. That's the risk. And you're going to go risk to go down.
Hi, it's been an honor just to listen to your story so far, and I want to know how you would sum up your living legacy so far. What inspires you to continue with what you're doing?
みんなが僕に何かを要求するだったら僕はすごく嬉しいよね、やっぱりね。
Because my ikigai, the reason that I wake up is to help people.
ちょっと老いぼれだけど。
I'm a little too old today. I wish I were younger.
使えるもんなら最後まで使ってくれる。
So I really want you to use me until I worn out.
Paul, Mami-san, the second part of that question was, what does he still want to achieve? Can you ask?
時間のある限り自分の好きなことをやっていたいけども、こういう仕事も嫌いじゃないんだ僕はね。
I really enjoy meeting these people, lean people. That really stimulates me, and I really get excited.
お酒はやめちゃったから3年前に。
So I loved drinking, but because of my cancer, I had to quit. So for 3 years, I have not drinking alcohol, zero.
こういうディスカッションの中に入るとやっぱり気持ちが若返りますよね。
But when being with you makes me really young. And more motivated.
I will tell you that, we've seen Mr. Amezawa just evolve the better quality people we bring on the Japan study mission, and the quality just keeps going up and up, and he hears the questions and he hears what is happening right now, and we watch him get energized and more animated. And we talked about us sitting up here on the stage today, all three of us during this presentation, and I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be up here. I wanted him to be on his own because he just comes alive when he's with people like you who really get it. And it's the most beautiful thing to watch.
Paul, I just like to observe, I lived in California in the 80s and 90s, and hats off to Mr. Amezawa and his team, because I think you'll attest to this, that Lexus was the key mark brand that kicked every other brand out of the market in the luxury car space for the guts of 20 years. So I think you should attest to the fact that Mr. Amezawa did a tremendous amount of really good work in the
Awesome. Great.
Mr. Amezawa, you told us about that one person can destroy a whole culture in 1 year. We are here, everyone here is building a lean culture. So we never want that to be destroyed. So what are indicators or red flags of people destroying your culture, and how should you deal with that, or how do you spot those red flags or
people that look down on the Gemba people that lie, people that do not work in harmony with the rest of the team, do not want to cooperate and work as a team and understand the importance of teamwork is my answer.
一番いかんのはやっぱ怒り散らすんだよ。そういう人。怒る人。感情をむき出しにして怒る人。
Very careful if you see the person who gets really pissed and then explode and then mad at everyone in very short time. You know, the short temper, it's like a little crazy, then you have to be careful.
ケンタッキーにいた時に
He's gonna point at me now. Sometimes I get wound up in Japan, and he goes to Mommy's and, okay, here we go again.
僕は一回も怒ったことないね。
So when I was working in Toyota, I never scolded anyone. I never got pissed
前も言
or
ったように
angry.
ね。君の失敗は僕の半分だと。
So even though it was not true, or I kind of exaggerated, but when my people told me their failure, normally the bad manager will scold at them and ask why you did it and why you didn't tell me early quickly. But I never did that. I said, don't worry, I made worse mistakes.
お金で済むことは
Don't worry, if we can solve the problem with money, we will pay for it.
だけど
Don't worry, you learned.
一番いかんのは人が亡くなったり、従業員が亡くなったり、
But
お客
the
さんが亡くなったり
saddest
する
thing,
こと。
what happened to me when I was working in Toyota, we lost some of the lives because of the accident.
Injuries.
And that was the big shock.
Okay, we're going to have that the last question. We've got Mr. Amezawa all day tomorrow.